everyone, Kate here with a Victober video, and I will be bringing back a Victober tradition I did for, I think it was 3 years, where I had a list of 5-star TBR predictions that were all Victorian. And I think I got discouraged because a lot of the time I would have some DNFs on the list and some books that were, 1 or 2-star reads if I didn't end up DNFing them. But now I've had a break from the project for a couple of years and I have just done 10 this time. Sometimes I would make the list a lot longer, and I really like the idea of just limiting it to 10. That's even a little bit higher than I should make it, knowing myself how I had this real momentum with my Victorian reading in the fall and winter. And then once spring hits, I kind of forget about it for a while. We'll see how this goes. I will report back next Victober. I'm hoping it goes well because I love the idea of having kind of some direction over the course of the next year in the Victorian reading that I want to do. So several of them are in good faith. And the first one that is in good faith is King Solomon's Mines. This is by H. Rider Haggard, and he wrote adventure stories. And he had a couple series within these. And so She, which is on my Victober TBR, is the first in a series. And then King Solomon's Mines, I'm pretty sure, is the first in the Alan Quatermain series. And I know eventually that She and Alan Quatermain meet up in a book later on. Now, H. Rider Haggard, I do know going in that there are terms that he uses that are very dated. These books have definitely aged in a way that they haven't aged as well as a lot of other Victorian fiction. So I do go in knowing that. And, I just want anyone who's watching this, and if they read it and they're kind of like, whoa, what is this terminology that he's using for, other people groups, just know that going in. So be prepared, or if you think it's not your cup of tea, maybe just skip it. I will let you know what I think. What I'm hoping for, though, is a good old-fashioned adventure story. So I will see. The next one is some poetry, and it is Idylls of the King by Alfred Lord Tennyson. I have wanted to read this for several years. It's one of my dad's favorite works of poetry. I am going to wait until I am done with The Fairy Queen. I think I will finish The Fairy Queen this year. I am halfway through book 4 out of 6. I don't know how much I'm going to read of it in October. I was hoping to read all of book 5 in October, but now I'm feeling kind of like maybe I'll just be too excited about Victorian literature, but that still leaves November and December. Either way, when I'm finished with that, maybe in the new year, I want to pick up Idylls of the King. It's about the Arthurian legend, so I'm sure there will be some recurring characters from the Fairy Queen that will be in Idylls of the King. And it will be interesting to see a Victorian take on the Arthurian legend as opposed to an Elizabethan take. And then number 3 is The Belton Estate by Anthony Trollope. So this is a Trollope book that I had not heard about until August of this year. And somebody commented on, I think, the Victober announcement video saying how much they love Trollope. And I asked what their favorite Trollope was. Or I told them I was planning on reading The Claverings, and they said The Claverings is good. I really liked it. I liked The Belton Estate even more. And then one of my patrons, she commented how much she liked Trollope, and I said, what are your favorites? And The Belton Estate was listed. So I said, okay, I am listening to this, and The Belton Estate is on my list. I do also want to start the Pallisers series. But I know several times I have gotten stuck in Can You Forgive Her? So I don't want my project to be kind of the momentum taken out because maybe I'll get stuck in Can You Forgive Her again. I'm hoping maybe third time will be the charm with Can You Forgive Her? Okay, the next one that I'm extremely intimidated by, and that is The Egoist by George Meredith. So this is one of those what do I want to say? It is not a beginner Victorian novel by any means. And Katie from Books and Things and Petra Yu both love it, though. They both say it's really a challenging read. It's a dense read. It's very heavy on social commentary and kind of the dynamic between men and women and their relationships. And It's written in a really unusual style and not my typical writing style. So I have actually started it. My plan is to take a year to read The Egoist because that's how scared I am of this book. But it keeps being one of those ones that I'm like, I want to know. You know, this seems like one of those, if you are obsessed with Victorian literature, you're going to get something out of this. So the writing is fairly impenetrable, but there's something about it that keeps me coming back. So I think I've read 5 chapters now, and I think there are 54 chapters. So I'm sure I will get fed up with it at certain points and set it down. I'm hoping to not DNF it. I am a notorious DNFer, which I'm okay with, but this is one that I would love to just take a year to read it and hopefully enjoy it in the end, even if it is very challenging. Like it's a lot more challenging than George Eliot, and she to me is like kind of the most challenging Victorian reading that I personally have done. Okay, number 5 on the list, another kind of adventure fiction is Moonfleet by J. Meade Falkner. I first heard about this on Charlotte from Bookish Mama Bloom's channel, and it involves smuggling, treasure, and a shipwreck, which sounds like Treasure Island, but I know that Treasure Island is a very high bar to set for adventure fiction that is character driven. So I need to go in knowing it's not going to be Treasure Island. It is only around 300 pages though, so that's shorter for a Victorian novel. So hopefully it will just be fun and full of adventure. Then the next one is Torn Sails by Alan Raine. I fell head over heels with Alan Raine's A Welsh Witch. And then a couple of years ago, Lucy from Lucy the Reader read and loved Torn Sails. And then my friend Stephanie at Miss Richards Reads, she also read and loved Torn Sails. So I want to read Torn Sails, and hopefully I will. Then some more domestic realism, and that is The Perpetual Curate by Margaret Oliphant. This is a big, chunky domestic novel. It is one of her Carlingford Chronicles, and it's got these really funny, bossy aunts of this curate in the town, and everyone has an opinion on how low church or high church he should be, and it's just highly amusing and diverting, but it's not one that I find to be a huge page turner, so I'll be taking my time with that. And then I wanted to put at least one for my Victober TBR this year on it so I could get that checked off the list. And so I picked a very easy one, and that is Mr. Harrison's Confessions by Elizabeth Gaskell. It's outrageous that I have not read this yet. So I'm hoping this year will just be the magical year. Something will happen, the Victober magic will be in the air, and I will finally read Mr. Harrison's Confessions because I adore Elizabeth Gaskell, and it's a novella I have not read by her. And number 9 on the list is a Wilkie Collins, and it is Man and Wife. Wilkie Collins has been very hit or miss for me, and I'm hoping this will be a hit, especially because I found out that I have access to the Nicholas Bolton audiobook, and I love his narration so much. And this does have some very high ratings on Goodreads. I think it has to do with like fake marriages made in Ireland, or I don't know, like you can be married a second time if you go to this certain place. I can't tell exactly, but I do have a physical copy, and it is a behemoth. Ooh. Okay, it is 642 pages. 642 pages. So this painting is so creepy, by the way. It is On the Brink by Alfred W. Elmore from 1865. Wow. So yes, Man and Wife. And yeah, it says, writers responded to contemporary debates on the rights and legal status of women, and here Collins questions the deeply inequitable marriage laws of his day. That's rich coming from Wilkie Collins to comment on the marriage laws, because he had 2 families. He was married to 2 people. So I don't know how I feel about this, but we're going to go for it. All right. And then lastly, number 10, a Charlotte Mary Yonge. I really want to keep reading more by Charlotte Mary Yonge, and the Charlotte Mary Yonge Society was having a group read going, I can't remember when they're discussing this, but it's called The Stokesley Secret, which doesn't that sound like a sensation novel? This also had some very good ratings on Goodreads, not many reviews. So I don't really know what it's about. That's the thing when you pick more under the radar authors, you're going to have, you're going to just go in blind a lot more. So hopefully it's one that I will come to love, and I look forward to telling you what I think about it. Those are my 10 books for my 2022 5-star Victober predictions. So thank you as always for watching, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye.